There is something happening inside your body right now that your doctor has almost certainly never mentioned. Not because it is rare, but because it is invisible on a standard blood panel. And because no one in a 10-minute appointment has time to explain what is actually destroying your nerves. If you are over 60 and you feel that burning in your feet at night, that tingling that never quite goes away, those sudden electric shocks that shoot through your toes without warning, I need you to stay with me, because what I am about to share changes everything about how you understand what is happening and why everything you have tried so far has not worked. In my years working with patients over 60, I have seen this pattern over and over. People come in after months, sometimes years, of suffering. They have been to the doctor. They have been told it is normal for their age. They have been handed a prescription and sent home, and yet the burning gets worse. The numbness spreads, the balance gets shakier, and nobody has ever sat them down and explained the one root cause that is driving all of it. That is what I am going to do today. Let me describe something that might sound familiar. You wake up in the middle of the night. It is 2 a.m. Your feet feel like they are on fire. Not warm, on fire. You throw off the covers because even the weight of the bed sheet against your skin is unbearable. You sit on the edge of the bed in the dark, waiting for it to pass, knowing it will take an hour, maybe 2. And you think to yourself, this cannot keep going like this. In the morning, you get up carefully. You hold the nightstand first, then the wall, because your feet feel like they belong to someone else. Numb, unsteady. You take one step, and you are not quite sure where the floor is beneath you. You move slowly through the house. You have learned every safe path, every corner to avoid. You have stopped going out at night. You have stopped walking on uneven ground. You have started planning every trip around where you can hold something if you need to. And underneath all of that, there is a fear you do not say out loud, that one day you are going to fall, that one day it is going to be serious, that one day your children are going to have to start making decisions for you. This is not aging. This is a specific, progressive condition. And here is what makes it so serious. Most people with these symptoms have been living with them for years before anyone takes it seriously. But the damage that is happening inside your nerves does not wait. I have seen patients who ignored this for 2 years, and by year 3, they could not feel the ground beneath their feet at all. I have seen patients who trusted their doctor when they were told it was just arthritis, just circulation, just getting older. And a year later, they were using a walker because their balance had deteriorated so severely. I have seen patients fall in their own bathroom, break a hip, and never fully recover. And every single one of them told me the same thing. They told me they knew something was wrong. They told me they kept going back to the doctor. They told me they kept being sent home with the same answer. Falls are the leading cause of accidental death in adults over 65 in this country. And peripheral neuropathy, this condition in your nerves, is the #1 risk factor for those falls. This is not something to wait on, and here is what makes it even more serious. And I will get to that in just a moment. But first, I need you to do something. If what I am sharing today is new to you, and I suspect it is, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I release critical health information for people over 60 every week. Information your doctor may not have time to share in a routine appointment. Hit the subscribe button below. It costs nothing. And it could be one of the most important health decisions you make today. Now, here is the root cause that nobody is talking about. Your nerves. Every single nerve in your body is wrapped in a protective layer called myelin. Think of it exactly like the rubber coating on an electrical cable. That rubber coating is what allows the electrical signal to travel cleanly from one end to the other. When the coating is intact, the signal is clear. You feel sensation normally. Your balance is sharp. Your muscles respond correctly. But when that coating begins to deteriorate, the signal leaks. It distorts. And what you feel is tingling, burning, electric shocks, numbness. The nerve is trying to communicate, but the line has interference. Now here is where it gets critical. That myelin coating does not deteriorate randomly. It deteriorates when your nerve cells are starved of specific nutrients they need to maintain and rebuild it. And after the age of 60, the ability to absorb and utilize those nutrients drops dramatically. Think of it like a road that has not been resurfaced in 20 years. The potholes accumulate. The signal gets weaker with every mile. And what your doctor is offering with gabapentin or Lyrica is not resurfacing the road. It is simply turning down the volume on the signal so you cannot hear how bad the road has gotten. The damage continues underneath. And this is where the research gets really surprising, because the deficiency that is most directly responsible for myelin breakdown is not obscure, it is not rare, it is vitamin B12. But not just any deficiency, a specific, measurable, progressive deficiency that affects up to 40% of adults over the age of 60. The reason is biological. After 60, the stomach produces significantly less of a protein called intrinsic factor, which is the molecule your body needs to absorb B12 from food. So even if you are eating well, even if you have taken B12 supplements, your body may not be absorbing what it needs. And if you are taking metformin for blood sugar, studies show it reduces B12 levels in up to 30% of long-term users. That means millions of people are taking a medication every day that is quietly accelerating the very nerve damage they are trying to manage. Researchers at the University of Milan published findings that most people in the medical community have largely overlooked. Their work on B12 and peripheral nerve repair showed something remarkable. The peripheral nervous system, unlike the brain, retains a meaningful capacity for regeneration. The nerve fibers can begin to rebuild their myelin coating when they receive the right nutritional support in sufficient concentrations. The key phrase there is sufficient concentrations. And this is where standard B12 supplements fail almost everyone. Most supplements on the market use a form called cyanocobalamin. It is cheap to manufacture. It is what you will find in almost every drugstore brand. But cyanocobalamin does not cross efficiently into nerve tissue. It has to be converted by the body into an active form first. And in people over 60, that conversion is severely impaired. So you take the supplement, the blood test looks fine, but the nerves are still not getting what they need. This distinction is almost never explained in a routine appointment, and it matters enormously. I had a patient, I will call him Robert. He was 67 years old when he first came to see me. He had been dealing with burning feet for 3 years. Nighttime was the worst. His wife had moved to the guest room because he was constantly up, pacing, trying to find relief. His doctor had tried Lyrica first. It made him foggy. He could not remember words mid-sentence. He felt disconnected from himself. So they switched to gabapentin. Same story, different side effects. He gained weight. His balance actually got worse. He had 2 near falls in his kitchen. He came to me frustrated and frightened. He said, "I feel like I am disappearing." We talked about what was actually happening in his nerves. We talked about myelin, about absorption, about the specific forms of nutrients his body could actually use. We addressed the deficiencies that had been building for years undetected. Over the following months, Robert described something he had not felt in years, a gradual quieting of the burning, nights that did not end in pain. The tingling began to normalize. He told me the first morning he woke up and his feet did not immediately hurt. He sat in bed and cried, not because he was cured, but because for the first time in 3 years, he had hope that was based on something real. Because here is what people do not understand about this condition. The suffering is not just physical. I want to be direct with you about that. The burning feet and the tingling are the part you talk about with your doctor. But what you do not say is what this is doing to the rest of your life. Think about your sleep. When you have not had a full night of sleep in months, sometimes years, everything changes. Your mood, your memory, your patience, your relationship with the people around you. Chronic sleep deprivation from nerve pain creates a kind of low-grade despair that is very hard to describe to someone who has not lived it. You wake up exhausted before the day begins, and you face it alone, in the dark, while everyone else is sleeping. Think about your relationships. You have stopped going to certain places because you are afraid of falling in public. You have turned down invitations. You have made excuses. Your world has gotten smaller, and you have not told anyone exactly why. There is a shame in that kind of slow withdrawal that is very real and very heavy. Think about who you used to be. You were someone who moved through the world with confidence, who did not have to think about every step, who could get up from a chair without planning it. That loss of physical ease, that loss of the body you trusted, touches something very deep. And then there is the fear you carry quietly about your family. You do not want to be a burden. You have watched others go through this. You know what it looks like when someone loses their independence and the people around them have to reorganize their lives to compensate. You are terrified of becoming that person. And nobody in a clinical setting has ever acknowledged that that fear That specific fear is part of what makes this so devastating. I have put together a short presentation that goes much deeper into everything I have covered today. It includes specific approaches that I have seen work for patients in exactly this situation. The link is in the description below. Watch it when you have a quiet moment. I think it is going to answer a lot of questions you did not even know you had. What I have found in both the research and in clinical practice is that certain natural compounds can meaningfully support the process of nerve recovery, not as a cure, as targeted nutritional support that addresses the specific deficiencies driving the damage. The first and most critical is methylcobalamin, the active form of vitamin B12. I want to be precise about this because it matters. Methylcobalamin is the form that crosses directly into nerve tissue without requiring conversion. It is the form that has been studied extensively for its role in myelin synthesis and nerve fiber regeneration. In my clinical experience, patients who have been taking standard B12 supplements for years with no result often respond very differently when they switch to methylcobalamin in therapeutic concentrations. The research on this is clear, but it rarely reaches the people who need it most. The second compound is alpha-lipoic acid. This is a powerful antioxidant that is unique in one critical way. It works specifically inside nerve cells. Most antioxidants cannot penetrate the cellular membrane efficiently. Alpha-lipoic acid can. It neutralizes the oxidative damage that has been accumulating in your nerve tissue for years. Oxidative stress is one of the primary drivers of myelin deterioration, and it is almost never addressed by conventional treatment. Alpha-lipoic acid is one of the most researched natural compounds for peripheral nerve support, and its mechanism is well understood in the scientific literature. The third is acetyl L-carnitine. Think of this as cellular fuel for damaged nerves. Nerve regeneration requires enormous amounts of energy at the cellular level. Acetyl L-carnitine supports the energy production process inside the mitochondria of nerve cells, giving them the metabolic resources they need to begin rebuilding. It has been studied extensively in clinical settings for nerve health support, and the evidence for its role in peripheral neuropathy is substantial. The fourth is benfotiamine, the fat-soluble form of vitamin B1. Standard thiamine does not penetrate nerve tissue effectively. Benfotiamine does. It has been studied specifically for its role in protecting nerves from glucose-related damage, making it particularly relevant for anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. It has been used in European clinical settings for decades, and the research on its nerve protective properties is well established. Now, you may be wondering why your doctor has never mentioned any of this, and I want to address that directly, because it is not what most people assume. This is not a conspiracy. It is a system problem. Physicians are trained in pharmaceutical interventions. They have 15 minutes per patient. Continuing education is largely funded by the pharmaceutical industry. Nutritional biochemistry receives very little attention in standard medical training. When a patient comes in with nerve pain, the clinical pathway is medication, not because doctors do not care. Most of them do, but because the system is not designed to investigate root causes. It is designed to manage symptoms. And the result is that millions of people over 60 are suffering from something that has a nutritional component, and they will never hear about it in a routine appointment. You are not powerless here. I need you to understand that clearly. Your body has a remarkable capacity to respond when it receives the specific support it has been lacking. The peripheral nervous system is not static. It is not simply declining and there is nothing to be done. The research increasingly suggests that with the right nutritional foundation, meaningful recovery is possible. Many patients describe a gradual reduction in the burning sensation, especially at night. Many describe the tingling beginning to normalize over weeks and months. Patients report sleeping through the night again, something they had not done in years. The sense of balance and confidence when walking is often one of the first things to improve. This is not about false hope. This is about understanding what your nerves actually need and giving them the support to begin doing what they are designed to do. If today's video opened your eyes to something important, share it with someone you care about, because there are millions of people over 60 dealing with this silently, and they do not have to. The short presentation in the description goes even deeper. I highly recommend watching it when you have a quiet moment. Subscribe for more critical health information every week, and leave a comment below. What was the most surprising thing you learned today? I read every single one.